My girl Ochako not going down without a fight. What a badass. I have a whole new form of respect for Ochako in this chapter. Like, from now on, I already liked her. She was like my favorite female character besides Momo and Frog Girl. Very good female characters in the series, by the way. She was one of my favorites, Ochako is. And to see how she held her own against the almighty Bakugo, that's kind of the rival of our main male character, Izuku, quite shocking and surprising at that, because let's face the facts here. Majority of us, when we ended the last chapter, we all thought Ochako was going to lose, like get crushed. We knew Ochako was going to lose. It was very obvious. I mean, just looking at the feats between Bakugo and Ochako and looking at their quirks and stuff like that, it was obvious Bakugo would have won. But to see how Ochako, at the end of the day, when it came to this chapter, held her own and made Bakugo have to kind of put his guard up and think, it's shocking. Because it just goes to show you, our characters are not pushovers. They're very intelligent characters, and I love that about Boku no Hero Academia. Because a lot of our characters in this series is very intelligent. Not just our main male character, Izuku, but Ochako, Bakugo, Todoroki, Momo, All Might. I mean, there's a bunch of characters that are very intelligent, and to see how Ochako was able to use tactics and strategies that even surpassed Izuku's tactics was ridiculous. So, I just want to say one thing, okay? When it came to this chapter, it was very brutal. Seeing my girl Ochako just getting knocked down, beat up, just destroyed, kind of like the majority of the chapter, or the entire chapter, is Bakugo versus Ochako, and seeing them go at it, the fight begins, and it ends in this chapter, and I'm enjoying the pacing of this tournament, by the way. I'm really enjoying the pacing. Like, it's going at a decent pace. It's a fast pace, but it's a decent pace to where it gets the entire points across. Hopefully you all know what I mean by that. But getting back on topic, the entirety of this chapter is Ochako versus Bakugo, and you see how they go at it, and it's very one-sided. From first glance at it, it's very one-sided. Bakugo is destroying Ochako like it's nothing. Come to find out, Ochako's continuously getting up after every explosion that Bakugo uses against her. She continues to charge and rush him, and we come to find out she was using the particles and the quirk power from Bakugo as a smokescreen. She used Bakugo's own quirk ability against him to make rubble from the floor of the ground, and then she levitated it to where it could float and used them as meteors and projectiles against Bakugo in this chapter. Very intelligent, very smart, and I love that about Ochako, because what really made me have a lot more respect for her as a character was to see how she even kind of outsmarted Izuku, because Izuku, he kind of reveals his plan in this chapter. He kind of reveals what he was going to tell Ochako. He was going to say, like, okay, you need to continuously charge Bakugo. You need to get the first hit on him to where he can float, and you'll get the upper hand. Also, you need to make sure you pay attention to his right side attack. That's what Izuku was going to say to Ochako. Come to find out, Ochako's already been analyzing Bakugo's fighting style, because she's like, oh, he's going to come from the right. She was also talking about how he was, and then, she was going to continuously charge him to try to make him float, but it was all a distraction just to cause the projectile meteors. So she even went past what Izuku was thinking. And that's surprising. It really is. Because Izuku as a character has been very smart and intelligent. He's fought about all his battles, and he's mainly used his mind to win battles in this series. Not really his feats of strength of All Might's One for All. He's actually just used his mind to win a lot of fights. And to see how Ochako kind of outsmarted that when it came to Izuku's mind, yeah. Now do you see why I have respect for her as a character? And one thing though, I don't know if it's just me, but there was a massive quality jump in this chapter. Like, the quality of the artwork, art lines, and the shading was on point. Like, I think out of all the weekly shonen chapters I've seen thus far from this week, Boku no Hero Academia had the best chapter when it came to terms of the artwork. Like, did you see Ochako in this chapter? Like, holy shit. Like, her artwork, like, the mangaka of this series, the artwork on Ochako, like, there was about 8 faces in this chapter that was just breathtakingly good. Like, good faces. Like, faces I would instantly say that's thumbnail. Like, that's what I usually would do. When I read a chapter of a manga, I usually know what part of the chapter I want to use as a thumbnail, because there's usually one specific scene in a chapter that has a greater amount of artwork than the other parts of the chapter. But this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia had like 8 faces of Ochako just not giving up. And I'm like, whoa, even Bakugo's face is in this. It's crazy to see how the mangaka has continuously improved his artwork by the chapter, because if you go to chapter 1 and look at this chapter night and day, it is night and day compared to the quality of the artwork. And I've already been noticing it for the earlier chapters, as I've already said in my reviews, but it still is improving. Like, do you see this artwork improving by the chapter? I mean, imagine how Boku no Hero Academia is going to be in 50 to 100 chapters from now when it comes to the artwork. Just picture that for a second. The artwork already looks this damn good, where it's competing with the best artwork of Weekly Shonen Jump, in my opinion. And to see how this mangaka is only 36 chapters in, imagine how he's gonna look when he really gets used to this drawing. Like, I mean, imagine Oda. I bet Oda doesn't even have to look at when, you know, what he's writing anymore. I bet he's like, closes his eyes, he's like, that's how Oda is probably. He's just doing this. So imagine if, you know, the Boku no Hero Academia mangaka could do that. Like, you know, just not go at the level of Oda, but I mean, be able to get so used to his artwork, he could just do even more details with the time he has. Because, I mean, it's very obvious the mangaka is still improving. And it's scary. It's so scary. It is. Because Boku no Hero Academia is a continuously growing quality series. And usually a series like this would kind of go downhill by now, but it's not. It continuously is just diving straight up. And for a manga series to be like only 36 freaking chapters, it's already so damn popular to where Viz Media is already publishing it in America this summer. That's crazy. That's so fucking crazy, because let's look at the feats here. Tokyo Ghoul, oh god, we all know how Tokyo Ghoul exploded. We know how all that happened. It just exploded last year, and it was because of the first season. But guess what? The mangaka, or the manga of Tokyo Ghoul, doesn't come out until this summer, even though Tokyo Ghoul was in last summer. It took an entire year for Tokyo Ghoul to get 1 volume in the States. But guess what? Viz picked up the mantle of Boku no Hero Academia like less than 2 months ago at the maximum, or less than that even. And they're already saying they're bringing a volume, the first volume, to the States in summer. So it just shows you, like, the popularity of Boku no Hero Academia is real. It is so real right now. Like, it is massive. Like, it really is, to even have something like that already happening. I just wanted to state that, because I've been not really talking about the manga volume coming to the States, and I just wanted to express that. That just goes to show you how popular this is right now, because for Boku no Hero Academia, they already have this big of a following. Like, this big of a following without an anime. Without an anime! Just imagine how big it's going to be when it does get an anime. If a proper company gets this series. Just imagine that for a second. Like, if Trigger, Madhouse, Ufotable, or, you know, a good studio, a good anime studio, not Toei Animation. Fuck no. Toei Animation, keep your grimy hands off this series. Just imagine if a good company got the series and animated this. Imagine the quality jump. Imagine the quality jump, or the fan base of this series. Like, it would jump immensely. It would. I'm kind of scared to finally see what's going to happen when it does have something like that happen. It won't be for very long now until I say an anime will be announced. I give it, I would say I would give this series another 4 or 5 months, and it'll probably have an anime announcement. I'm willing to bet it, just judging by the popularity of this. I give it only 4, 5 months. At the maximum I would give it is a year. At the max. It's very obvious this will get an anime. There's no denying it. So, yeah. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you all feel about this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia? I got a little bit off topic, but I mean, it was a good chapter. Solid chapter. Fucking amazing. I mean, Ochako, a lot of respect. Bakugo, I mean, he's not letting up. Tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.